We take you now to the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, speaking at Chicago O'Hare Airport.
Our travelers are moving safely through the airspace. I would also note that there are short air traffic controllers at this facility, and we need more of them to come into the profession. Young men and women, some of the brightest in the country, have to come into this profession, and this shutdown is going to make that more challenging, more difficult for us to accomplish that goal. We used to have four air traffic controllers retire every day. We now have 15 to 20 air traffic controllers retiring a day. So that's a problem. Long after you all finish covering the shutdown, we are going to be stuck dealing with this problem where we're about to make up that difference. We're going to do it. We're going to work on it, but that has been a problem of the shutdown. I mentioned I wanted air traffic controllers to come back to work. So to be clear, anywhere from 24 to 48 hours after the government opens, they're going to get a photo ID and 70% of their pay. So 70% of their pay comes within 24 to 48 hours. So I encourage all of them to come to work, to be patriots, and help navigate the airspace effectively for the American people. The remaining 30%, I think, will come in about a week after the government opens. I want to say thank you to Senate Democrats, the 8 of them that voted to open up the government. That's critically important. This is now going to go to the House. I encourage every single Republican and Democrat to vote.
That, of course, is the Secretary telling air traffic controllers come back to work. We're about to open. He said within 24 to 48 hours, they're going to get 70% of their back pay. First thing I thought was, what's wrong with 100%? You know, they've had plenty of time to plan, the federal government. But here we go. This is the Secretary of Transportation. Looks like we've lost the Secretary. All right, so it's Veterans Day. November 11th. President Trump and Vice President Vance at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. We're going to have more from the president later this hour as millions pause to honor our military and their dedication service to this country this Veterans Day. The holiday also means Congress is out of session, but last night, after 41 days, the Senate finally passed a short-term CR, continuing resolution, to fund the government until January 30th.
On this vote, the ayes are 60, the nays are 40. The bill as amended is passed.
Well, lots of applause, but still could take days to actually end this shutdown. The funding bill still needs to be passed by the House. That means another 435 members of Congress. The House will likely vote tomorrow. That is, if all 435 can get flights back to Washington, D.C. And as you know, the scene remains a disaster at our airports. Today, more FAA flight reductions went into effect. It was 4% flights, which has been a nightmare for travelers. And now that number has jumped to a reduction of 6% in flights. Look at these numbers. According to FlightAware, over the past 3 days, there have been more than 28,000 delays and more than 7,300 cancellations. In a few minutes, we're going to check in with John Huddy, our correspondent on the ground at a busy airport. But first, outrage and uproar among and between Democrats. In the Senate, 8 Democrats broke ranks with the caucus to pass a spending bill that would end the shutdown. But now some Democrats want Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to resign as their Senate leader. CPAC Chairman Matt Schlapp, along with former Special Assistant to President Biden and former Press Secretary to First Lady Joe Biden, Michael LaRosa, joins me. Michael, you're the Democrat. So tell me, is Schumer dead man walking?
No, I don't think so. I just think right now Democrats are feeling their feelings. They're just feeling from each end of the spectrum, don't have anybody else to blame, because all year long when it has come to, whether it's been DOGE cuts or the National Guard or ICE raids, or this. They want something that we just don't have, and that's control and power to make policy. You can't make policy by holding the majority party hostage. It's not going to work. I don't know what outcome they ever expected, but it's therapeutic for Democrats to have a punching bag right now. Right now, the punching bag is Chuck Schumer. But there really was no other outcome that was ever going to come of this shutdown.
Matt, am I unfairly critical of the administration? They say that they're going to get the air traffic controllers who have been working without pay in the next 24 to 48 hours once it ends, gets 70% of their pay, not 100%. They don't get that other 30% for another week or two. Because it seems to me that they've had 41 days to figure out where to get the money, how to pay them. And these people have been very, the ones that showed up, good for them.
I agree with what President Trump is saying. The ones who showed up deserve not only 100% of their pay, but a bonus. And he's offered to give them, merit pay increases of $10,000. I like that. I think.
How about the 100% now? I mean, once it ends, why always 70%?
The dirty little secret in all these shutdowns is almost always Congress comes back and pluses up all these accounts. And I think, once again, if they went to work, I agree with that. Pay them their salary. If they didn't go to work, I probably don't agree with that so much.
I know, but I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but why do they have to wait for their money once it ends from 70% to 30%? Because that's a lot of money, and they've been.
Well, as you know, 80% of government functions now. Unlike when I was a congressional staffer, it was like less than 20% of government would function during a shutdown. Now, almost the entire government functions during a shutdown, but a shutdown really is a shutdown. There are accounts that run out of money. And this is the reality. And I believe the Democrats, for the first time since I've been doing this, and I'm really old, I have white hair, we want a shutdown. And we want a shutdown because Democrats couldn't believe it would be possible for us to win a shutdown, because when they do these shutdowns, they unify as a party. They love the idea of advocating for government spending and government employees. It's what they're good at. And somehow, Trump has managed to win on this front, too. And
Did he really? Do you think he's won on this, Michael?
Yes.
No, because here's the problem. January 30th or post-December 31st, when these subsidies expire, there's going to be a lot of pain felt. And I'm not saying it's all his fault, but he's going to be held responsible for the pain of
even though
the subsidies expired.
The Affordable Care Act subsidies?
Not just that. There is a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace because he cut Medicaid. Huge cuts to Medicaid in the OBB. You had premiums rising essentially because there was no plan to deal with the expiration of these subsidies. He could save them if he wants. By the way, the Republicans and Democrats are both going to have a vote in December on an ACA subsidy extension. They're both going to fail, right? But Trump does have an opportunity to save these subsidies if he wants to.
Let me just ask you a couple quick. Could you put a couple of things on the table? One is that the subsidies were only meant to be temporary anyway, to get us out of COVID. They expired, and it was the Democrats in power when they came. So these are the Democratic subsidies that expired during President Trump's administration. The second thing is about the Medicaid cut. I've pounded Republicans here, and correct me if I'm wrong, either one of you. Be honest, Matt, if I'm wrong on this.
I'm always honest, because I'm afraid of you.
Is that instead they put work requirements into a lot of these payments for different things. So it wasn't necessarily a cut, was it? Or wasn't it just they restructured it?
Well, the other piece of all of these benefits, SNAP benefits, Medicaid, all these government benefits we're talking about, under the Biden-Obama years, there was not enough security to make sure they weren't going to people here illegally. Biden lets in upwards over 5 million people into the country, and we're looking at these SNAP numbers at upwards to 40-some-odd%.
So we should have more money. They're gone now. If they've allocated this money appropriated, now they're gone. Now we have extra cash.
According to Newsmax and your colleague, upwards to 47% in some of these accounts are going to people who don't qualify for those benefits. This is one of the problems when you have an economy that's been affected by all of this, millions and millions and millions of people who are here illegally. It does hurt everybody who here is legally, including the people who, went in line and came here the legal way, who are immigrants. They're being screwed by the people who are here and who are cheating. And a part of all of this government shutdown is a conversation of, are we going to finally say to people who are here illegally, one of the ways that they might self-deport is if they're not here?
I got to get Mike, because the one thing which I will say, if all this money for Medicaid and Medicare was for people, include people here illegally, if they're now gone, we've got the saved money.
They're not gone.
I mean, if you talk to the ICE, they say a lot of them are gone. But anyway.
I love Matt, but he's wrong. Okay. He's wrong. And
there are no illegals here? This is good.
This discussion, this argument over illegal immigrants getting health coverage was decided at hour 1 15 years ago during the ACA. It is false. It is not true. Illegal immigrants do not get coverage under the Affordable Care Act. Now,
according to the law,
what does happen, and it's not just illegal immigrants, it is poor white people as well. It is anybody who comes into an emergency room and has to be treated who does not have health care. That's not just illegal immigrants. That can be citizens who are poor and don't have health insurance coverage.
All right, so
emergency rooms have to treat them.
This is the
and
problem.
Then the taxpayer has to reimburse
Michael, but this is the problem
the
with
hospitals.
This is the big problem with the Obamacare lie, which now we're still arguing about.
First of all, 60% of the country is not
how
on
we went
Obamacare.
from shutdown to this is good. But okay, go ahead.
Because these same issues are relevant, because we were fighting over the idea that Obamacare, which essentially failed policy, should it continue to get these emergency subsidies. And the problem is with the Obamacare lie is that we were told that everybody now would get health insurance. And what Michael is now saying is that there are significant numbers of people, despite spending trillions of dollars, wasting trillions of dollars, who still don't have health insurance.
Matt, okay, so look, the Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the White House. These Democrat subsidies are going to expire at the end of the year. What is the plan? There's got to be some plan by the Republican Party since they own the two houses and the White House.
All right, you told me to be honest. I'll be honest on my own team.
Okay.
The fact is that when it comes to health care policy, we have been terrible at making people understand what our alternative is. And where the Democrats really...
What is the alternative?
Well, let me just finish this piece. What the Democrats really screwed up on the shutdown is they should have made Republicans immediately start debating health care, which has been something that we bungled a lot. Instead, we got to debate the fact that you were putting air traffic controllers out of work.
Yeah. So we don't forget who's right, who's wrong. What is the Republican plan?
To not waste $2 trillion on bad health care.
How?
Well, what Michael's basically saying, the back door to our healthcare system has always been that when you don't have health insurance, you can still get health care.
Well,
and what Obamacare attempted to do, let me just finish. What Obamacare attempted to do was take the savings by not having people go into the emergency room and put everybody in this big pool. The problem with the big pool is it was unaffordable. It was completely unaffordable.
I get it. It didn't work.
Well, it provided something that we've never had before, another option for access to health care. It wasn't universal coverage. It was another option for people to obtain health insurance
who
didn't have an
sold
employer.
on universal coverage. That was the whole reason why we did it.
But it
was so that
no,
everybody would have health insurance.
Well, that's not what the bill was.
And then we expanded SNAP and we expanded all these programs. We expanded everything so that no American would ever go hungry or not have health insurance. It's called socialism. It doesn't work because when you go down to the accounting, you can never make the money work.
Matt, where you and I agree is that these things didn't work as they were supposed to.
And they never do.
Okay, all right. But the problem is that with the question I go back to, so what are we going to do? What will fix it rather than saying who's the idiot or who's the bad person or who's taking money?
You want me to give you a real answer?
Give me an answer.
The real answer is it's okay for an American to choose not to want to have health insurance, which the Republicans fixed. Number two, it's okay for Americans to do what they do in many cases, which is have the ability to get health care when they need health care. And when the problem with our insurance plans is, Michael said, well, it wasn't for universal coverage, but for the individual, in my plan, I have the ability to get my sex change operation and drugs paid for. I don't want that. Why do I have to have these gold-plated plans? Why can't I have just catastrophic coverage? If I get cancer or have a heart attack, but for the rest of it, I pay out of pocket, which is crazy because you end up doing that anyway under Obamacare.
Michael, I'm giving you the last word before we go break.
Real quick. Look, this was a noble fight for Democrats to have. It was the right.
Which one, the shutdown or the Obamacare?
Subsidies.
Bankrupting America over health care.
Okay. It was a miscalculation. It was the wrong time to do it because you can't make policy change when you're negotiating to vote for a budget to keep the government funding on a bill that all of the Democrats had already voted for many times.
That's a good
They
point.
were trying, this was the Biden budget, this was the Biden spending levels, and here they are trying to leverage policy.
So how does Schumer survive based on that? Because he's the quarterback making the calls.
Well, because we have a left-wing media echo chamber and left-wing activists who were demanding Schumer fight, demanding Democrats fight. They want us to fight, but they could never explain what they wanted out of that fight. What was a win for Democrats? You can't force a majority party to essentially expand a law that they all voted against, that they all ran against, and that they all want to repeal. It made no sense from the beginning.
I think I agree with him.
That's
On
just
that part.
That's just the reality. Now, I would say Trump, the Republicans, they should want to give people cheaper health care. They should want to give people.
We do. We
I
actually
think
do.
fundamentally, everybody does want cheaper health care and people have access to health care. The problem is that we don't have an unlimited pot.
Well, there's
We don't-
three
that's
Republican
the
senators
problem.
who are proposing plans. We'll see where they go. Marshall, Johnson, and who else?
Here's what we have
One
in
of your other
America, the
Republicans
best
last time.
health care in the world. It's battered, it's bruised. A lot of professionals have left the industry because of Obamacare. If we could get those people back and allow people to go to their doctors and choose the type of way they want to have their insurance and the health coverage that they have, we could go back to being the envy of the world when it comes to health care. And Obama helped screw that up.
35 million people who never had health care before
And
have
they
it
still-
now. No.
But I'm not so sure.
Millions
They
don't
now.
have it.
People who were denied pre-existing conditions, like my aunt for skin cancer for years in Florida, was able to get health care thanks to Obama.
But I'm going to take this last answer. But the problem is, I think that one of the other things, in order for this health care to work, it's also got to work for the health care providers, and I think they have been neglected. And I'm taking the last word. Matt Schlapp and Michael LaRosa, thank you. Complicating the headaches at the airports with the reduction in flights and the no pay for air traffic controllers, add this one into the mix. Bad weather. That can be disrupted to travel, and snow has been falling in places like Ohio, upstate New York, and Pennsylvania. There's also snow in the forecast for parts of the Great Lakes in New England. Several inches of snow there is expected. And it's not just snow. It's also really cold, unseasonably cold in some parts of the country. Today, the National Weather Service says record low temperatures are expected to be tied or broken across the southeast and Florida. Coming up, you're going to hear from President Trump as he honors veterans across the nation on this Veterans Day. That when the record continues.
Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country.
Before Charlie Kirk died, he issued a stark warning of terrifying dangers ahead in a new book, Pagan Threat, authored by Pastor Lucas Miles. Charlie said Pagan Threat could save America and that you must read it. Get Pagan Threat free with Newsmax's special offer. Plus, get Dick Morse's new book, The Real Charlie Kirk. 2 great books with our free offer today.
I'm Elmer Heinrich, at 91 years of age with my wife Shirley, who is 83. Now, both of us are still cutting a wide swath in life, all because of Immuno 150. Now, neither of us have any kind of sickness, and we're as flexible as we were 30 years ago, and we still do the physical things we did 30 years ago. Now, we are asking you to use Immuno 150 like we do. Give it a chance for at least 90 days so that you can see what 70 plant minerals and 80 additional nutrients can do for you. You won't believe it. Immuno 150 is an awesome nutritional supplement. There's nothing like it.
Yes, it really is incredible.
Yeah, try it. You will be surprised. Order online or call the number listed on the screen, but don't place your order until after you've watched the videos on our website. Thank you from both of us, and God bless.
There's nothing worse than losing your dog before their time.
That's why I created Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, designed to help dogs with everything from digestive issues to itching, even moving better.
Nature's Blend works because it's freeze-dried. So instead of destroying the nutrients with high heat, they all get right into your dog's body.
Take it from a veterinarian with over 50 years of experience saving dogs' lives. I have never seen a food make this much impact on a dog's health.
For a limited time, get up to 54% off Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, plus a free gift with our special TV offer. Call or go to drmartypets.com/TV.
President Trump is honoring Veterans Day with a trip to Arlington National Cemetery. Earlier today, the president and the vice president, J.D. Vance, went to the cemetery. They took part in a wreath-laying ceremony at the tomb of the unknown soldier. The president said this.
Today, to every veteran, we love our veterans, we say the words too often left unsaid. Thank you for your service. Each of you has earned the respect and the gratitude of our entire nation. We love you, we salute you, and we will never forget what you have done to keep America safe, sovereign, and free. Today we remember with overwhelming gratitude the more than 1 million American service members who have made the supreme sacrifice and laid down their lives for the good old USA.
And here is a bit of trivia. Today, in the United States, there are roughly 1.3 million active duty service members. Compare that to North Korea. They also have about 1.3 million active duty service members. The United Kingdom has about 184,000. And China, it has more than any other nation. It has about 2 million active duty service members. That's 700,000 more than we have here in the United States. Meanwhile, the United States military has blown up 2 more alleged drug boats. Yesterday, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth posted on X, quote, 2 lethal kinetic strikes were conducted on 2 vessels operated by designated terrorist organizations. These vessels were known by our intelligence to be associated with illicit narcotics smuggling, were carrying narcotics, and were transiting along a known narco-trafficking transit route in the Eastern Pacific. Both strikes were conducted in international waters, and 3 male narco-terrorists were aboard each vessel. All 6 were killed. No United States forces was harmed, end quote. This brings the total number of people killed in U.S. military strikes on alleged drug boats to 76. And a chaotic scene outside the University of California, Berkeley. Yesterday, violent protests erupted ahead of a Turning Point USA event scheduled at the university. You can see the protesters banging against barriers, setting off a smoke grenade, and screaming at attendees waiting in line for the event. Video also captured the moment a violent brawl broke out. You can see 2 men fighting. One of the men had blood gushing from his face. The event being held inside the university marked the final stop of Turning Point USA's American Comeback Tour. That was the nationwide event Charlie Kirk was scheduled to headline before he was assassinated. Moments ago, Attorney General Pam Bondi took to X to respond to the protest, writing, quote, Antifa is an existential threat to our nation. The violent riots at UC Berkeley last night are under full investigation by the FBI-led Joint Terrorism Task Force. We will continue to spare no expense unmasking all who commit and orchestrate acts of political violence, end quote. Coming up, more travel chaos. It doesn't stop. The latest when the record continues.
Today's November 11th. We honor our veterans, and we also remember the service and sacrifice you have made to our country. We are thankful for it. We also want to tell you about this new book, Veterans Benefits for You. It's by Paul R. Lawrence, and it details hundreds of benefits veterans and their families are eligible for right now from the government here in the United States. And few know these benefits better than Paul Lawrence. He headed the VA benefits program under President Trump in his first term, now serves as the Deputy Secretary of the VA. Veterans Benefits for You unlocks education, health, income, housing, insurance, and many other benefits that you may not know about, but you may be eligible for. The book right now available at bookstores and Amazon, but you can check out the free offer right there on the screen. It's coming your way because of Newsmax.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weeknight on Newsmax.
This is a story about the one. The one who looks to Grainger to make sparks fly. Getting it done right is a craft. It takes experience, the right material, and the right partner like Grainger with a wide range of professional-grade products. For the one, working hard means others can play even harder. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Drop is finally here. Drop delivers the weight loss benefits of GLP-1 injections in easy-to-use oral drops, no needles.
That's right. The 2 big drawbacks with weight loss injections are high costs and weekly injections. Drop is flavorless and odorless, so you can just add it to water or your favorite beverage. Drop offers other advantages over injections too. With Drop, you can personalize your dosage based on your weight loss goals.
And because you add Drop to any liquid, there's no concern about injection site infections, bruising, or dosage confusion.
Drop is the easier, safer, cost-effective alternative to help you achieve your weight loss goals without the needles.
Can't find it anywhere? The Wellness Company has it. No consultation needed. Simply order online and use promo code SLIM to save $100. Visit dropthepounds.com/slim. That's promo code SLIM at dropthepounds.com/slim.
What's gold is new again. Pardon the pun. But considering gold has been used as currency since around 550 BC, it has been on fire the past year. I'm here with Daniel Boston, the founder of Preserve Gold. Why is gold so stable and such a good investment for many people?
Take the central bank, for example, the Federal Reserve. They print money out of thin air, and then they take that printed money to go buy hard assets like gold to protect themselves against the very risks that they're creating. So I always tell people, don't do what the big players are telling you to do. Do what they're doing themselves.
Yeah, watch what they're doing.
That's correct.
Okay. If people are interested in investing with Preserve Gold, how do they get started?
Text Newsmax to 50505 to get your free information and up to $15,000 in free gold and silver with a qualified purchase. That's right. Text Newsmax to 50505.
All right. No way you can miss it.
Hey guys, Viagra is not your only option. Rove Sparks act fast and stay active longer. They aren't pills. Sparks dissolve under your tongue to reach your bloodstream for speedy results. Connect with a provider at rove.co/sparks.
I'm Elmer Heinrich. At 91 years of age, here with my wife Shirley, who is 83. Now, both of us are still cutting a wide swath in life, all because of Immuno 150. Now, we are asking you to use Immuno 150 like we do. Give it a chance for at least 90 days so that you can see what 70 plant minerals and 80 additional nutrients can do for you.
It really is incredible.
Yeah, try it. You will be surprised. Order now. You'll be glad you did.
If you're headed someplace and traveling by air, I just want to say I hope you aren't in a big rush, because according to FlightAware, today so far 2,709 flights have been delayed and 1,229 flights have been canceled. You can add that to yesterday, the day before that, et cetera, et cetera. Senior correspondent John Huddy is in a very busy airport. John, which airport are you in and how is it?
I'm at Fort Lauderdale International Hollywood, FLL. It's not as bad today, I got to be honest. I actually flew in here last night from Central America. My flight was on time. We actually got a little bit early. I was lucky. Other airports not so lucky. Chicago, O'Hare, Hartsfield, Jackson, and Atlanta, LaGuardia, all seeing the bulk of delays and cancellations today. FlightAware, as you just mentioned, Greta, that tracks this kind of thing, reporting now more than 2,700 delays. That number has gone up just in the last couple hours, and more than 1,200 cancellations so far today, both into and out of the United States. Now, the percentage of flights, and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said this a little while ago from Chicago O'Hare. He said that the percentage of flights the FAA is requiring to cut was increased from 4% to 6% today, and is likely to go up to 10% by Friday as well. American Airlines said Monday that 250,000 of its customers have been impacted by these flight disruptions, with 1,400 cancellations attributed to air traffic control staffing issues. Air traffic controllers, as we know, missed their second paycheck now because of the government shutdown. Well, Transportation Secretary Duffy, who was in Wisconsin earlier today, said it will take time for things to get back on track even after the shutdown ends. Listen.
We were at the cusp of hopefully having the government reopened. I'm concerned that we're not going to have on day one controllers come back into the towers right away. I'm asking them to do that. President Trump has asked them to do that. It is their jobs and they will be paid, but it might not be immediate that they come back in.
Now, I talked with some travelers today. One group who was trying to get back to Canada. Looks like they were able to do that. Another group trying to get back to Philadelphia from Key West through Atlanta, who are having a little bit more of a tough time. Listen. I mean, Atlanta's tough, Philly's tough as well.
Right now it's looking good. 143 flight out, it's looking good.
Okay, no delay as of yet.
They're not rescheduling nothing. It's awful.
What were you on?
What Airline?
American.
Everything is expected on time, so we're fingers crossed.
No, we got canceled about an hour before leaving Key West last night. Don't fly.
And Secretary Duffy, Greta, said the timeline for getting things back to normal really depends on air traffic controllers going back to work. And the other big problem, a lot of these longtime veteran air traffic controllers have retired throughout the course of the last few weeks. Greta?
John, one quick question. Does the Florida airport seem usual crowd or is it a lighter crowd? Do you think people would decide not to fly so much?
Well, there's a few people that I talked to who already had, they had their trip planned for like 10 days, 15 days, that kind of thing. It's a little bit quieter right now. Others said that they were going to travel for the Thanksgiving weekend or Thanksgiving holiday, but they were reconsidering that at this point.
That's always a rough travel time. John Huddy, thank you. And in more Florida news, 15-year-old Amy Chance has been arrested. Why? Well, as you can see in the video we're going to put on your screen, the 15-year-old slammed a metal shovel onto the hood of a police cruiser with a police officer inside the cruiser. The officer gets out of the car, points a taser at the 15-year-old, forcing her to stop slamming the police car. Next, the girl gets, as you might expect it, arrested. This altercation happened after the officer arrived to investigate a disturbance at the teen's home that was caused by the teen. Chance was taken into custody and is facing felony criminal mischief charge for causing more than $1,200 damage to the police cruiser. Coming up, our nation's challenge with affordability. That when the record continues.
Hey, I'm Carl Higby from Newsmax. Look, I'm unapologetically pro-American, and honestly, this is the one place that lets me call it how it is. I'm not holding back. I'll give it to you straight every single night.
A better heart health supplement. That's what we all want. That's why for 8 years now, I've relied on this heart powder. It's Super Beets, and I swear by it.
Super Beets is the original #1 selling beet brand for healthy blood pressure support. The only cardiologist-recommended beet brand that's also trusted by over 40 national championship-winning pro and college sports teams for cardio-powered energy.
For cardio results you can feel, the only brand I trust is Super Beets.
Find out how to get a free month with your first order at livehuman.com.
Every day, bumps and bangs happen. Bruises are optional. Used daily, dermatologist-recommended Dermend Moisturizing Bruise Cream can help restore your skin's natural barrier and reduce the appearance of bruises. If you have mature skin and bruise easily, get Dermend Moisturizing Bruise Cream in the first aid aisle and get back to having way too much fun.
Yikes. Leaky refrigerator coil card.
Oh no.
But your future is bright with an American Home Shield warranty to protect your covered home systems. Don't worry, be warranty.
A peace plan for Gaza. For the plan to advance, Hamas must disarm. Instead,
tonight, terrifying images emerging from Gaza. Videos show Hamas-linked gunmen carrying out a public execution as they return to the streets.
Hamas on a rampage, executing Palestinians, bloody crackdown, spreading terror. For freedom, not terror, Hamas must go.
Make this Christmas the year you go all in on joy. At Balsam Hill, celebrate with one of our beautifully crafted lifelike trees. For a limited time during our Veterans Day sale, save up to 40% off and start making memories at balsamhill.com.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans. Compare drug coverage. Compare costs. See if you can save. And make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Compare plans now at Medicare.gov.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Well, a little birdie told me rates are taking a dip, which means that dream home won't be there forever. Don't let someone else beat you to it. Start your search today. Make it real with Realtor.com.
When I first decided to invest in gold, I was a bit nervous and unsure
how to start. Luckily, I found Noble Gold Investments. From the very first call, they made investing easy. No pushy sales tactics, no gimmicks, and no confusing free silver offers with hidden fees. Just honest advice tailored to my needs, giving me confidence every step of the way. If you're new to gold investing or want a partner you can trust, visit noblegoldinvestments.com.
A recent survey by the Brookings Institution investigates the damage caused by lost federal jobs and lost grants in Montgomery County, Maryland, just over the border from Washington, D.C., as well as other surrounding counties. One heartbreaking factor in Montgomery County is seen, as well as surrounding counties, a soaring number of pet surrenders. People can't afford their pets. Montgomery County Office of Animal Services Shelter put out this message that reads in part, quote, Montgomery County Office of Animal Services is over capacity with dogs. Additionally, the shelter environment is an extremely stressful environment for an animal. We encourage animal owners to seek out all reasonable alternatives before bringing their dogs to the shelter, end quote. Now, on top of this, in a recent letter to the county executive and the county council, the Montgomery County Animal Services Committee wrote in part, quote, year-over-year data shows a nearly 50% increase in surrenders, a trend driven largely by economic instability, including job loss and housing insecurity, which is leaving many families unable to care for their beloved pets, end quote. As I noticed, not just here in the D.C. area, this is an issue actually all over the country. Meanwhile, Real Clear Politics has released a new poll. That poll was conducted by YouGov between November 7th and the 10th. The poll asked 1,663 U.S. citizens what they think is the most important issue for them right now. The results? About 27% of voters said inflation and prices. 15% of voters said jobs and economy. 11% said health care. 8% said civil rights. 7% said taxes and government spending, and the remaining percent of voters, 32%, voted for other issues. A side note, today the Dow closed up more than 500 points and set a new record. The Dow surpassed its previous all-time high, which was set just 2 weeks ago. Real Clear Politics co-founder and president Tom Bevan joins me. Tom, if you look at the market, look at the numbers, everything's soaring, everything looks great. But if you look at the prices in the grocery store, you look at the cost of housing, everything's going up. It's outpacing wages. And it's not just something that started in January with this president. It's been creeping up on us for the last couple of years. What do the polls tell you?
Well, as you just mentioned, I mean, you look at those numbers, and this was the case certainly in the election last week. But also in 2024, I mean, the economy and inflation are the #1 issue by an order of magnitude. They kind of fall into that same bucket. And as you just showed, I think the combination there was like 32%. Next highest was healthcare, which you could even consider that part of the economy because it's a cost that a lot of people are bearing and that's out of control. So it's the main issue. Trump, his overall approval rating is at about 42%. Disapproval is about 54, 54, so he's minus 11. When you look at the economy, his approval rating goes down to like 41. Disapproval goes up to 55, so that's a -14 spread. But when you look at the issue of inflation in particular, his approval rating goes down to 35.5 points, and his disapproval rating is over 60%, so -25.5. Net -25, over 25 points on inflation. So clearly, and this is one of the issues that he ran and won on in 2024, Greta, so clearly voters do not think that the president has been paying enough attention to and having enough success at battling inflation.
Well, you say this, the inflation, but I went and looked back at the numbers. We've been holding at 3%, which is a pretty good level, enough for the Federal Reserve to begin, cutting the rates to put more money back into the economy. But the inflation rate really hasn't, it's done nothing. It has not gone up since he took office in January, and it had been at 3% preceding that for some time. So, I think that sometimes that in these polls that we know what quote is the right answer, that might be a quote right answer, and you say that, but people do feel things like groceries. When you go through the line and all of a sudden your groceries are pretty high and you think, wow, that's a lot for an orange. Or, with housing, when you and I were growing up, you could probably think of owning a house by the time you're 35 years old. And now it's, that's not happening in a lot of places.
Right. I mean, I think that home ownership now is up near 40, and now we're talking about 50-year mortgages perhaps to try and give people a little bit of relief. In terms of their monthly payments, look, you're absolutely right. And, Trump likes to point to gas, which is important. I mean, that's something, again, that people, they recognize that when they go to the pump, that gas prices are down. But as you mentioned, some of these other costs that people live with every single day are still, people think they're too high. And the president, you know, this is the double-edged sword of Donald Trump. He comes in and says, look, I can solve these problems. I will get this done. I'll solve the war on day one. I'll, you know, fix inflation on day one. And, you know, obviously he had a bit of a grace period, but when you get in, we're 10 months in now, and this economy is basically his. He can continue to blame Joe Biden. Lord knows Biden blamed Trump before that for almost 4 years, and Barack Obama blamed George W. Bush for all the way into his second term. But at some point, voters say, listen, you're in the job. This has become your economy, and we expect results. And I think people look back to the economy they had under Trump in the first pre-COVID, and they had sort of favorable feelings about that. They are not having favorable feelings about Trump 2.0 on the economy, at least right now.
You know, but I think, I think it's something deeper and more structural than that. I mean, there's so much going on in the economy. You look at I don't understand. I mean, this 50-year mortgage, and it's been a while since I've had a mortgage. I'm lucky enough to have had a house long enough. But in the beginning, all you're doing is paying interest to the bank, so you don't get much. And then if you refinance, you do points, and you got to come up with a big chunk of cash in order to do that. So I would like to see how banks do make banking loans available for people to make homes. I'd like to start there. And then structurally, you look at it, I don't blame people for making a better mousetrap, but if you go into something called equity, which I'm not even sure what that is, you make a lot of money, but you don't make anything. You're not manufacturing anything, you're not building a house, you're not doing anything. But the economy, people are passing money around, and a lot of people are getting very wealthy, and good for them, but they're not structurally adding to the economy.
Right. And, this goes back to actually the 2008, the Great Recession of 2008. There was a fundamental tear in sort of the fabric of the country. And where, to your point, your earlier point, people used to say, oh, look at the stock market. It's great. It's booming. Those numbers don't mean anything to a lot of people, right? They're not paying attention. When people talk about, oh, the unemployment rate is so low, that doesn't necessarily, those are figures that have less and less meaning to people in their everyday lives. Because maybe they know people who are unemployed, or maybe they're working 2 jobs. It's a more holistic approach about the economy, and you're right. It's structurally unsound right now. We have people at the top getting very, very wealthy, and we have people at the bottom who are really struggling to make ends meet.
I'm not so sure free trade that started in the early 90s was smart, because it meant that we were competing with the world, and you could either buy a T-shirt that for $5 that was made from slave labor in Bangladesh, a blue T-shirt, or you could buy the same blue T-shirt made here in the United States for $30. Well, everyone's going to go for the $5 one, and so we stopped making anything here, and we became so dependent on other places that we've really sort of made a mess of the structure of our economy. So we'll see what Trump can do. He's got affordability is a big issue. Tom Bevan of Real Clear Politics. I check it every day. You know that, Tom. Thanks, you.
Thanks, Greta. Appreciate it. Yep.
Coming up, is it an alien or not? And are we alone? The Harvard professor who thought this comet could be extraterrestrial joins me. That when the record continues.
I'm Elmer Heinrich. At 91 years of age, here with my wife Shirley, who is 83. Now, both of us are still cutting a wide swath in life, all because of Immuno 150. Now, we are asking you to use Immuno 150 like we do. Give it a chance for at least 90 days so that you can see what 70 plant minerals and 80 additional nutrients can do for you.
It really is incredible.
Yeah, try it. You will be surprised. Order now. You'll be glad you did.
Think you need a new roof? Think again and save thousands.
We're America's most trusted roofer because we always try to save your roof rather than replace it.
We'll restore your roof for a fraction of the cost of a new one. Call now or scan the code and we'll give you an assessment of your roof for free.
Oh, we got a WeatherTech gift card.
WeatherTech is the perfect gift for everyone.
May I?
Laser-measured floor liners protect carpet in the front and second row. Cargo liner protects the rear. The side window deflector offers more protection.
My turn.
The sink mat contains spills and cabinets.
Something for you too, buddy.
Pets eat safely with a non-toxic pet feeding system. Find these American-made gifts or get a gift card instantly at WT.com.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work, Try to see a doctor this week or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Order online and save $45. Your kit to treat dozens of common and serious illnesses is rushed to your door. Visit urgentcarekit.com/news, promo code NEWS. That's urgentcarekit.com/news, promo code NEWS.
I love Rise Mushroom Coffee, and not just because I look good drinking it.
Hello there.
The all-day energy I get is good too, and it's easy on the stomach. But mostly, it's because I look good drinking it.
Kevin Sorbo here, and I have an important message to share. The government needs more money, your money. If you owe the IRS back taxes, they can garnish your wages and levy your bank accounts. They can even seize your retirement or take your home. Don't let the IRS target you. Call the professionals at Tax Network USA. Their tax lawyers and enrolled agents are experts in powerful programs that may even help you eliminate your tax debt.
Call for a free consultation or visit tnusa.com.
Apple is caving to China's demands again. The Chinese government asked Apple to remove gay dating apps from the company's app store in China. Apple agreed. In 2020, one of the apps called Blued reported that it had more than 49 million users over the past weekend, users of the app in China noticed the app disappeared from their phones. In a statement, Apple said in part, quote, "We follow the laws in the countries where we operate. Based on an order from the Cyberspace Administration of China, we have removed these two apps from the China storefront only," end quote. Now, this is the most recent example of Apple agreeing to censor apps in China. Last year, Apple removed popular messaging apps from its store in China. Those apps included WhatsApp, Signal, and Telegram. Chinese government requested the removal of these apps. China cited national security concerns. And if you've been paying attention to the news lately, which I'm sure you have, you may have heard about this. It's a comet, or an interstellar object. It is named 3I Atlas. It is getting a lot of attention about its origins. Here's what we know so far. The object was first spotted in July. It did not come from our solar system. It's flying incredibly fast, about 112,000 miles per hour. But here is what we don't know. Where did it come from? And is it extraterrestrial? Professor and director at the Institute for Theory and Computation at Harvard University, Dr. Avi Loeb joins me. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good afternoon, I should say. It's still the afternoon. All right, first of all, let's start with the basics. Some of us may have slept during science, including myself. What is a comet?
Well, a comet is a rock that has ices on it, and as it gets close to the sun, the ice sublimates, evaporates, and you get a tail of gas and dust stretched away from this object, away from the sun, basically being pushed by the solar radiation and the solar wind.
When was this comet formed? Do you know, or when are comets formed?
Well, these are the Lego pieces that make planets. There are rocks in the solar system that were left over from the formation process of the planets, and we see these as asteroids. But if the rocks are in the outer part of the solar system, for example, they are covered with ice. They are sort of dirty ice balls. And those, when they come close to the sun, they get vaporized, and we see them as comets. These are the comets we're used to in our backyard in the solar system. But now, for the first time in history, over the past 8 years, we discovered objects that came from outside the solar system. And 2 out of the 3 that were found looked anomalous. They are not the same as we are used to. They have some unusual features. And the third one was 3I Atlas. It's the third interstellar object to visit us from outer space. And it's very massive. It's actually more than 33 billion tons based on the latest estimates. And that's surprising because there is just not enough rocky material in interstellar space to deliver such a giant rock into the inner solar system once per decade. And moreover, it follows a path that is aligned with the plane of the planets around the sun. So that raises the question of whether it was sent by some intelligence. And it came closest to the sun on October 29th, a week ago. It became very bright, bluer than the sun. It deviated from its path as a result of some non-gravitational force that was acting on it. And now we're seeing it coming out of its position close to the sun. And in fact, it looks like it has at least seven jets coming out of it. And so the fundamental question is, are these jets caused by pockets of ice that were vaporized by sunlight, and therefore it's a natural object, or they are thrusters of a spacecraft? And the good news is we can figure out the difference. We can observe those jets as the object approaches closest to Earth on December 19th this year, and that's 6 days before Christmas. And let's just hope that it will not deliver any unwanted gifts for the holidays.
Well, I know it's unwanted. It depends on who might show up. But anyway, tell me this. I mean, this is a question everyone always asks: is are we here alone? Is there other intelligent life out there? Do you think?
I think it's arrogant to believe that we are the pinnacle of creation, because just look at the world politics. There is room for improvement. And my guess is, out of the tens of billions of Earth-Sun analogs, there are lots of them in the Milky Way galaxy. Surely there were things like us billions of years ago. And it's our duty to search for our siblings. And that will give us a connection, an emotional connection to the universe. Right now, we are thinking about the universe as a collection of stars, galaxies, matter, radiation. But if indeed there are intelligent beings out there, it would make everything very different. We would learn from them. It would change the view we have about our place in the universe. It would inspire us to imitate them and reach interstellar space. So for all these reasons, I think we should seek them. And for now, it's a blind date. Just watching objects enter the solar system is just like a blind date. And my advice on a blind date, don't have an opinion about the dating partner. Just observe it first before realizing what you're facing.
You said it's coming closer to the Earth on December 19th. What's close? How close?
Well, it's not very close. It was actually trying to avoid us. When it came closest to the sun, the Earth was exactly on the opposite side of the sun. So maybe that was done on purpose, so we wouldn't be able to observe it because the sun was in the way. It was the optimal point for a spacecraft to do a maneuver, to release some probes. So we don't know why, but at the moment, it will not get closer to the Earth than 250 million kilometers, roughly 1.8 times the Earth-Sun separation. So it will be not very close, but closest so far, and it will allow us to observe it in the best possible way.
Is there any way to get a piece of it to look at it? I mean, does it break up into pieces? And I mean, this is just beyond us?
Well, it could. In fact, it may have. When it came closest to the sun, there is some preliminary evidence that it lost a lot of mass and maybe it broke up. So if it broke up to pieces, those pieces will get separated by the gravitational tide of the sun, and we will see them independently. Again, it's in the coming weeks that the most exciting fireworks may happen.
Dr. Avi Loeb, I hope you come back as we see the next couple exciting weeks. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up, dogs take to the streets in Ireland. I do not know if you will see this one in America. The video when the record continues.
Dreaming of a new kitchen? Now's the time at Cabinets to Go during our Buy More, Save More sale. For 2 weeks only, save up to 40% and choose from a huge selection of popular color and style combinations. And our expert designers will help you get started with a free 3D design. It's never been easier or more affordable to bring your dream kitchen to life. Visit CabinetsToGo.com to find a store near you and come in today for big savings during our Buy More, Save More sale. Cabinets to Go, designed to wow.
Derriere, caboose, booty, badunkadunk. No matter what you call it, if you have hemorrhoids, your tushy is no laughing matter. So don't use a cream that treats your rear end like a joke. Get serious relief with Recticare Advanced Hemorrhoidal Cream. Recticare Advanced is seriously effective with 2 powerful medicines for rapid dual-action relief, soothing the uncomfortable swelling, itching, and pain of your hemorrhoids. For serious hemorrhoid relief for your buns, get Recticare Advanced.
I am a Gold Star spouse to CIA officer Casey Clark. And he came home. By Monday, he had struck a very high fever. They put him on a ventilator. Definitely the hardest moment to have to tell a child that their father is passing away. Tunnel to Towers coming into our lives has transformed us. To have your home paid for, I really am so grateful to Tunnel to Towers.
When Betty and George turned 50, they figured out that switching 2 unlimited lines from big wireless to consumer cellular could save people up to $600 a year. So they made the switch and started splurging on date night. And it became their favorite night. No, don't you dare. It's an acquired taste. See how we can cut your bills. If you're over 50, get 2 unlimited lines for $30 each. Call Consumer Cellular.
I'm Elmer Heinrich, at 91 years of age with my wife Shirley, who is 83. Now both of us are still cutting a wide swath in life, all because of Immuno 150. Now neither of us have any kind of sickness, and we're as flexible as we were 30 years ago, and we still do the physical things we did 30 years ago. Now we are asking you to use Immuno 150 like we do. Give it a chance for at least 90 days so that you can see what 70 plant minerals and 80 additional nutrients can do for you. You won't believe it. Immuno 150 is an awesome nutritional supplement. There's nothing like it.
Yes, it really is incredible.
Yeah, try it. You will be surprised. Order online or call the number listed on the screen, but don't place your order until after you've watched the videos on our website. Thank you from both of us, and God bless.
There's nothing worse than losing your dog before their time.
That's why I created Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, designed to help dogs with everything from digestive issues to itching, even moving better.
Nature's Blend works because it's freeze-dried. So instead of destroying the nutrients with high heat, they all get right into your dog's body.
Take it from a veterinarian with over 50 years of experience saving dogs' lives. I have never seen a food make this much impact on a dog's health.
For a limited time, get up to 54% off Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, plus a free gift with our special TV offer. Call or go to drmartypets.com/TV.
Sponsored by Dr. Marty Nature's Blend, the health of fresh food with the convenience of kibble. Visit drmartypets.com/TV.
Here is a farewell ceremony you don't see very often. This week, the President of Ireland, Michael Higgins, finished his last day in office. People and dogs, mostly dogs, came to say goodbye. There are a lot of Bernese Mountain Dogs. The outgoing president and his wife have their own Bernese Mountain Dog. Higgins is known for his love of the breed. There was always a Bernese Mountain Dog in sight. His term as president finished this week after 14 years. The Chris Salcedo Show is up next. Stay with Newsmax. Have a great evening.